Welcome to another episode of 50 Shades in Grey, where today I'm joined by Marilyse Elena Corrigan from MAFS Season 6, all those MAFS fans. And thank you for joining me today, Marilyse. Lovely to have you here at 50 Shades in Grey. How are you doing?
I'm really good. I'm really good today. Are you?
I'm very well. We had a little chat off camera, haven't we? You're looking stunning, I need to add as well. So you're looking
Thank you.
lovely. So obviously we went on to maths. I've had Luke on here as well that was on, he wasn't on your season,
Oh
was
yeah.
he? Was he on
He
your
was
season?
on he was on last year's, so he was on 2 seasons after me, yeah.
Yeah, so I spoke to him. So I'm intrigued by maths because, so did you go into it actually wanting to get married?
Not necessarily wanting to get married because that's not how it works. It's not like obviously a legal wedding, but wanting to meet my future husband, yes. So yeah, it's all put together by the experiment, by the experts, matching you with somebody through interests and hobbies and just characters and everything like that. So that's what drew me to it. But I would have liked to have obviously if it was a real legal wedding, I definitely wouldn't have done it.
So what was so when you, that moment where you walk in the church, you look down the aisle and the guy that you're with turns around, that moment, that would scare the bejeebies out of me, because like I'm sure most people get nervous when they know they're marrying, but so that
Oh God,
moment,
yeah.
what went through your head in that particular moment?
Oh well, as I was walking down the aisle, I actually said, and they wrote it on camera. I was like, "Effing hell!" I didn't realize I'd said it, but it was nerve wracking. But because I knew what I'd signed up for, when it came to the day, I was absolutely so chilled, and I just thought, you know what? I can't back out now. I've got to do it. So I just completely and utterly, I don't know, I just went so chilled. I do that with things like that. I get so nervous before the big day with anything that I do. And then when it comes to it, I'm actually really relaxed. So I wasn't too bad, to be honest. But yeah, you just know that you're going to meet somebody, and yeah, it goes from there.
So had you been married before that?
Never
So
been married, no.
did it actually feel like a proper wedding, like when you was doing it, or
The
did?
whole, yeah, the whole wedding day was like a proper wedding. It was absolutely incredible.
But did it
Like from
feel
the
like it?
flowers.
Because you knew it was like not make believe, but you knew it was sort of what it was. But did you get caught up thinking, I'm getting married?
Oh yeah, you take it really seriously, and you completely forget that it's being filmed. You completely forget that it's going to be on TV and that everyone's going to see it. You do take it really, really seriously. I think everybody from our series took the whole thing because we were the first cast as well to do this kind of the Australian version. We were all so serious about it that we actually, you actually believe that it is real. Yeah.
What do you mean by that? The first cast to do the Australian one?
So the Australian version is the same as our version now, but we never used to do it like the Australian. We used to do it where it was just like very short. It was a very short episode, couple of episodes with maybe a couple of brides and grooms. This is, big. There was about eight. I think there was about 8 couples in ours, and obviously you've got your dinner parties, you got your commitment ceremonies. So it was, yeah, it's completely different.
And what was your, out of all of the show that you did, out of everything, what was your highlight, your main bit that you thought that was great, that bit?
The main bit for me, the most, bit that I'm always going to remember is actually the wedding day, because yeah, you like the rest of it, you feel like you're going to be on the TV. You're more on a TV show, like there's producers everywhere and there's drama. With the wedding day, it was just absolutely beautiful. I think it wouldn't have mattered even if you married somebody that you didn't fancy at all, or was like completely not your type or a minger, you still would have had the best day. Some people who were matched with people who they didn't even get on with, they still enjoyed their wedding day.
So have you got a
Would
picture? Have you got a picture up of you in your house anywhere of that wedding day?
No, I haven't. I just think that'd be a bit weird. I just and if I have like, I don't know, if I have a boyfriend come around my house, I think he might be a bit put off by that. I don't know.
Yeah, he'd probably
And
panic that
some
there's.
some of the girls have, some of the girls that I know from my show have got pictures up of them in their wedding dress, even just on their own, not with the guy, because obviously
Yeah,
it
oh no,
hasn't
I
worked
mean,
out with
I
it.
meant, I meant on their own. So
Oh,
what's
right.
how many of the show that you did? How many of them are still together?
Just one couple, and they've had a baby and they've got married for real.
Oh wow, that's
So would
great.
you ever do Married at First Sight?
No, I don't think I'd be brave
No.
enough. No, I was surprised I did the show that I did actually. I think the one that I would not have done the one that I did if it weren't for doing it with Zach. I just wouldn't have done it. I don't
Oh,
think,
with your son, yeah,
yeah, because I did it
absolutely.
with my son. I don't know. It was that part of it was the best part of it. Doing something with him, I think that was the draw for me as
Yeah,
well. So I don't think
yeah,
married at
definitely.
first. Yeah, it seems like a real commitment to me. That
I kind of wish I did your show instead of mine because it was from watching because I absolutely loved your show last year and I loved it this year as well. And it's definitely more for my kind of show than Married at First Sight was.
well, listen, maybe next year. Who knows? This time next year, Rodney.
Who knows?
You could be walking in there. So it didn't work out for you, unfortunately.
No,
Like,
not with Frankie.
are you still in touch? Do you stay in touch? Are you still friends?
We are friends. We are friends. We were very, we've been in touch the whole time since, but he's now engaged now, so I don't really hear from him much now, which is absolutely fine. Obviously, that's the
Yeah,
way
it might
things
be a bit
go.
awkward that.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but I do see what he's doing on social media, and I see that he's happy and he's all loved up, and I'm really pleased for him because he deserves it.
Oh, that's great. So, how
Really
about
nice
you now?
guy.
So, in terms of work-wise, what do you do? What's happening with you?
So I've always been a personal trainer. So before the show, 10 years ago, I started as a personal trainer, and that's what I've continued to do after the show. I also do online coaching as well. So I've extended my platform and train people, remotely as well, which I absolutely love. I love working with people. I love helping different people achieve their fitness goals, and it's mainly women, but it's great because obviously they relate to me, I relate to them, and it works very well.
So, how does that work in terms of like when you say you're training them remotely? Do you do like group sessions, or is it like one to one, or is it more about plans? Or
So I do them like workout plans to do either at the gym or at home. Even if they're on holiday and they want workout plans, then I'll design them to do plans on holiday. I've got my own app, and I do the meal plans, family friendly meals, so it's nice and relatable for the family to enjoy as well. And then I keep in touch with them, to make sure that they're doing it, and they can speak to me whenever they want, and just basically guide them through it.
do you think a lot of them lie and say, "Yeah, of course I'm doing it"? Yeah, I'm doing that as they're sitting around the pool on their third cocktail.
Yeah, probably. To be fair, my ladies are quite dedicated. They're probably more dedicated than I am at times.
So, I mean,
So no,
a lot of the women that we have follow 50 Shades and Grey as well. It's sort of that midlife point of where they're going into menopause as well, or experiencing
yeah,
menopause. Do you do a lot of work around that as well? Because I found
I'd
that,
say 95% of my clients are that age bracket. They either pre-menopause or post-menopause, or like they're going through the menopause, and they all suffer with the same symptoms. And yeah, it really massively helps to obviously improve your lifestyle by fitness and eating better, and it improves everything. It improves your sleep, your mental health, your weight gain, blood pressure, everything. It just makes them feel so much better. But yeah, 95% of my clients are older women who are experiencing that.
so in terms of your clients base in, you have a sort of a very mixed audience here of people that are in relationships and women that are single as well. Do you find that you have a mixture of both, or is it that sort of people coming out of relationships thinking, right, I'm going to get myself together, I'm going to get myself really sort of fit and healthy, and then I'm going to
I
enter
do
in.
get a lot. I do get a lot of ladies like that. Yeah, absolutely. I do get a lot of ladies who have gone through a bad breakup and they've got stuck in a rut where they've just let themselves go, or they've been stressed out, and they wanting to turn their life around, and they're wanting to go out there and meet new people and start dating again, and they've not done it for so long because they've just let themselves go. And now they're wanting to obviously focus on themselves and get themselves out there because they realize that life is so short, and they want to be happy.
Is a lot of that, do you think, about confidence as well? In terms of like, if
Yeah.
you put something on before you go out and you feel good in it, you tend to be more confident. Whereas if you're thinking, oh, I'm not having a good day, so you try and hide stuff and you wear sort of baggier stuff, then you don't feel as confident.
Yeah.
Do you think a lot of it is?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people, when they first contact me, they'll say what they want to achieve and why they want to achieve it. And a lot of them are just like, I don't want to go out the house. I haven't been out even for drinks. I avoid any invitation to go out and socialize. I stay in all the time. I'm lonely, and it's really sad, to be honest. I mean, I've felt the same before, not to that extent, but where I've been like, right, I'm going out this weekend, and I've got nothing to wear, nothing looks good on me, nothing fits me, and it is really depressing. It makes you just not want to do anything. And so I do completely relate to that.
I saw when I was looking through your Instagram doing my research on you, actually, that you said you've suffered with sort of being underweight and being overweight. So are you sort of one of those
Yeah.
people that can yo-yo up and down?
Yeah, if I didn't train and I didn't like take care of myself, I would probably be quite large. I would, because so I have, like, even when I was a child, actually, I used to be quite chunky. And so I have had to control it myself. I have lost a lot of weight, but that was due to like a breakup a few years ago, and I was just like really upset. So I lost like loads and loads of weight, probably like went really, really unhealthy, where everybody was really worried about me. But then I have gained weight as well. So I can literally go from one extreme to another. So I do try and balance myself out by being healthy, but also enjoying life as well, because I think that's really important. I don't starve myself. I don't eat clean 24/7 at all. I like to have a drink and have a night out. So it is all about having a balance.
Oh, you was out at the weekend actually in Manchester. I saw a couple of posters. You look like you're having a great time. Was that what was it? Your birthday?
No, it wasn't my birthday. It was my fellow maths bride, Amy Christopher's birthday. So we went out for her birthday.
And you still, it's great that you're still friends because you do stay. I mean, I found that as well. You do stay close with people from the show because of the
Mhm.
experience. Because
Yeah, exactly.
other people don't always get it, do they? It's those
No.
people that were in the same situation. So we're gonna
It's like a
we're gonna
bond that you form.
get to some juicy stuff, me and you. We're going to go back and forth. So, because we've had conversations about relationships and being in relationships and being single and everything else, but we'll start with being single. When you've been single, are you the sort of person that is happy in your own head and happy on your own, or are you the kind of person that always needs someone there?
I think when I'm single, it depends what's going on in my actual personal life anyway. So if nothing terrible or bad is happening in my personal life, then I am really, really happy being single. I think you need to be happy you need to be happy. If you want to meet somebody as well, you need to try and be happy in yourself. But when I'm single, yeah, like most of the time, I'm really happy because I just think, I'm not going to mope around. I'm not going to be desperate trying to find somebody. It is what it is. And I always think one day I will meet that person. So if it takes a year or 2 years or 5 years, you can't spend that time being unhappy. You've got to try and be happy in yourself in order to find somebody or meet that person. So yeah, I tend to be happy when I'm single, but I'm not like out there like constantly looking for somebody or anything like that. I just, get on with life and try and like enjoy seeing my friends, spending time with my family, and doing nice things and going nice places.
So, did you find the experience of maths afterwards made you a lot more popular? Not popular in that way, but did it sort of create more problems, or give you less problems, or just give you a bit
Um,
more choice?
what do you mean with men?
Either, wherever you want to go.
I think going on the show actually doesn't do you a lot of favors. I don't think it really gets you more popular with guys. I think people, I don't know, I think they're more like wary of you, or I don't know, or they're just, I don't know. It didn't, if it did that, I would have been in a relationship since the show probably. But no, I don't know really. It didn't, I think it's got a bit of a curse on.
So, when you have been single, what has been your? Have you used like dating apps? Have you tried to use those? Have you found those, or is it been?
Yeah, I have been on and off dating apps, and you'd think that, having dating apps, you'd have it's easy to do dating, but actually dating apps does not make dating easy at all. So yeah, I've used dating apps, but I don't necessarily use them to go dating. I kind of go on them when I'm bored. Like flick on them and see what's about, and then 9 times out of 10, there's not really anything that's there. So I put my phone down and I've wasted about 2 hours flicking through it.
Do you ever start up conversations and then just go, "Oh, I'm just going to leave that"?
I'm terrible with it. I do it all the time.
Well, you're the ghoster.
I'm a typical terrible terrible Tinder person. Yeah.
In what
I'll match with someone who I think's really good looking, and then I'll be like, yeah, we've matched, and then I'll wait for them to message me, and then and then they'll message me probably eventually, and then I'll reply, and then they'll reply, and then I won't reply. I
Why
think they
not?
have to really catch my attention in the first in the first like paragraph, and if they don't, then I'm just like, oh, that's boring because everyone else is saying exactly the same.
But everyone, this is the problem. Everyone does say
Don't
the
really give
same,
it a
don't they?
chance.
But so,
Yeah, it's difficult.
give me
I
an
don't
example
like
of
it.
a paragraph that's going to grab your attention.
I like someone quite forward who's like, okay, you know, let's go on a date. Like, let's just cut all the bullshit of chatting, and let's just go out for a drink and see how we get on. That is something I would go for. But
I get
instead,
that bit.
like, it's like, hey, how's you? How's your day been? Mine's been okay. How's you? It's just boring chat.
Yeah, I think that's what does drive people nuts on there. Which
Yeah,
why
and it's like,
a lot of people end up just cutting and pasting conversations because it's just like the same thing all the time. But I think you're right. I think that's a great tip that if you're on dating
yeah,
apps, when you match with someone, just go, listen, we can spend the next 2 weeks talking and then it's just going to fizzle out, or we can go out. Just tell me which one you
yeah.
want. If it's the
That's what I
first
would
one, don't
prefer.
bother anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know, I actually was talking to a couple of guys like at different times, and they've actually said to me that they do actually copy and paste their
Oh, yeah.
paragraphs. So they send the same girls the same message as their first like message to them. I was so shocked. So shocked. But then you do get like cheesy chat up lines as well. Like the first message can be really cheesy.
But that's guys trying to do what you want in the first place. It just doesn't quite hit the spot. They're rather than sort of say, "Hi, how was your day?" I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know many cheesy chat lines, I guess, but they'll say something else that doesn't grab your attention. So
Yeah,
you're immediately like, no.
yeah, yeah. I don't like dating sites, to be fair.
I had a message from someone on Instagram the other day, from a lady, and she was saying, I don't know if this has been your experience, that a lot of the guys that seem to be contacting her have been really just after one thing. And she said, like,
Mm,
she's showing her friends her profile, and they've like, there's no reason for it. It's not like she's her
mm,
photos would sort of suggest anything. So have you found that
mm.
as guys get older, they're quite sort of single-minded?
Do you know, I've never really let it get that far on dating sites where it's got into that kind of like it's given me that impression. I'm not, like I say, I'm not very good on them, so it's never really got to that point. But I don't know. Do I think they're single-minded when they're older? I'd hope that they weren't, but you tell me.
I don't know. We touched on this in the conversation that we had before coming on.
Mhm.
And have you found, because it was interesting something you said actually, but have you found, especially guys when they get into that sort of midlife period, have you found them to be quite lazy?
Yeah, I have done. Like I've been on a few dates in the past where I've really liked somebody, and they think that because I don't know, if they've got a, like, they're older guys, obviously, because I don't date younger guys, but they can be where they want me to make all the effort, like they want me to travel to them to see them, and they don't want to come and visit me. That's why it's difficult to date somebody that's over an hour away, because you've got to make that commitment to make the effort to travel to see each other. And if one person isn't doing it, and just one person is, then it's just not going to work, is it? So in my opinion and in my experience, that has been lazy, and that's completely put me off the person, because I want somebody that's going to make the effort back equally. And but yeah, that's been my experience of lazy men.
I did, because when you said it to me the other day, I did think, actually, I think I've been guilty of that myself before. And it hasn't been out of not wanting to. It's because it just fits in, selfishly, it fits in with your day better.
It's more convenient for you. You know, it's more convenient for me if they come and see me, but I do make the effort so that they make the effort back, expecting them to make the effort back. But when they don't, then it's kind of a red flag.
So as you're sort of been sort of like, as you've got older, has your sort of perception of relationships, of how they would work well, changed at all?
How they would work well.
So
Can you?
stereotypically, obviously, it's usually you meet someone, you date them for a while, you see where it's going, and then you think, okay, so we'll move in together, and then we'll go there. But I don't know whether now it's, and I've read a few things on this, where relationships when you get older can actually work a lot better when you both keep your independence and both keep your own
Mm.
houses, and sort of say, well, we'll be together at each other's houses, but we've got our own houses.
I would actually prefer that, and I know a lot of people live their lives like that. I do actually know, people who are a lot older who have gone through life living separately, and I don't think it's a bad idea. Like, if you're independent and you've used to living on your own, and you've got your own stuff going on, then it is nice to have your own place, and then you're spending that more quality time when you are together, and you're looking forward to seeing each other. Yeah, I completely think that's a good idea. I think more people should do it.
You know,
But yeah, it's nice to miss somebody as well, like you said.
yeah, no, 100%. I think sometimes there's a lot of mileage in that as well. He's not being around someone. Sometimes you can really appreciate them, and obviously
Yeah,
I've found as well that I think once you move in together, there's so much more pressure on the relationship, because
pressure.
it is then right. Well, if this doesn't work, whoever sold their house hasn't got a house. Whereas,
Mm,
you know, and especially when you get older, because like I think one conversation can change everything so quickly, like one line. And,
absolutely.
and we had this conversation, the other day, didn't we? Where something can be going
Mm,
great with someone. You could be seeing someone, and all the signs are there. You're having all the right conversations, and then there could be one sentence that just suddenly changes the
that they don't
landscape.
like.
Yeah, yeah. Either they don't like or you don't like, and that's the thing. I think as you get older as well, you only need the slightest thing to go, I know I don't like that. I'm not
Yeah.
getting over that. Whether it may be, young kids, you find out
Mm,
that someone, I know you'd find that it's early, but as it starts to get more serious, I know that, like, I've had stories before where people sort of say, and then all of a sudden they said to me, they don't want to get involved with someone who's got young kids. And it was like, I've always had
yeah.
young kids. You
Yeah.
knew this from the beginning, but there's always
Yeah,
sort of like
absolutely.
that one sentence that can just change everything so quickly.
Yeah. My mum used to always say, like, you don't know someone properly until you live with them. So I think that's 100% true as well. But yeah, it's anything. It could be anything. Like, it's so older, it's so difficult finding the right person because of factors like having kids and things like that can just get in the way. Like, if someone doesn't want kids, if someone does want kids, or if you've got kids and they've got kids, and you blend the households together, that can cause problems as well.
Mm.
So there's so many things that can interrupt something that could be good.
So how about for you? So if you were single, you was do you were dating again, would that be a thing for you? If you met a guy that you really liked and he had young kids, would you think, do you know what? I've done that. I don't want to do that again. Or would that not be an issue for you?
It actually wouldn't be an issue for me because I did go out with somebody for like a few years and he did have young kids. They were very young. They were like, toddlers. And it was a bit difficult because my children were teenagers, like early teenagers. So blending the households were difficult because his children like wanted to go to play areas and wanted to go to like big fun and all these things, and then my kids wanted to go to the cinema and do like boy things, like teenage things. So that it was actually really really difficult blending them together, and it was like this weekend we'd both have our kids on the same weekend, and then it would be like, well, what are we going to do with them, because your kids want to do this and my kids want to do this. So it was really really, it was difficult. And then if we chose to have the kids on different weekends, we didn't have any time to ourselves on a
Yeah.
weekend because we just had kids every weekend. So that was difficult. It is hard to blend two households together when the kids are completely different ages. But I definitely would not say no to it. I wouldn't let that affect me, especially now my kids are practically moved out. So it's it wouldn't be a problem for me.
So you've
How
got to,
about you? Would you do it?
yeah, no, I think I would.
Yeah.
No, I think I would. If you like someone, you like someone. You can't help
Yeah.
all the external things that go on, because if you like them enough, you'll kind of you'll kind of sort of put up with it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a real. I think it can be a challenge. I think it can put more pressure on it sometimes, and it can be a challenge. But I also think that when you've got kids yourself and you meet people that haven't got kids, I think sometimes, no matter what age they are, you're always going to put your kids before someone else,
Yeah,
more often than
absolutely.
not. And if you haven't got kids, you don't understand that. You can say you do, but you just don't. Whereas when people have
No.
got kids, they kind of get it. If you say, listen, I can't go tonight because one of them's ill, and they go, yeah, but he's like 18. Like, what does it matter? It's like, I don't care. I don't care how old he is.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure he's
Yeah.
okay. We'll have to do this
Yeah.
another time. So like,
Yeah.
So for me, I think distance can cause challenges as well. But like I say, they're all challenges. It's just whether you can get over them. And then it all depends upon how you communicate as well. So if you communicate the same way, then it's a lot easier. If you both of you communicate in different ways, I think it becomes a lot harder with distance as well.
God, it's really highlighting challenges of relationships here. It's put me off.
But I think they are when you get. But I don't think it's a bad thing. Like I said, like I'm an advocate of like being happy single. I think if you're really happy single, things don't work out, you're always going to be happy. You'll be happy. I think a lot of people, I've said this in a lot of the podcasts we've done, I think they rely on other people for that happiness, and that's a lot of pressure to put on another person. It's like, right, you're going to give me my happiness. My happiness is you, because there's too much pressure for people sometimes, especially when you get older. I don't know.
Yeah, there's so many people out there as well that don't want to be on their own, that like really, really struggle being on their own, and they have to be with someone. And then you get completely the opposite, where you get people that I know a lot of women and a lot of friends who have been on their own for years and not even bothered, don't even think they'll ever have a relationship again. They're just like happy being on their own. They're probably not happy, but they're just, kind of like getting by life, just like, yeah, I'm on my own. And yeah, you can get one extreme.
Yeah, I think you can be really happy. I think someone else just gives you a different dimension to that happiness. I don't think it's a necessity. I think for a lot of people, like, someone else is not, and I'm one of those people. Like, for me, someone else is not a necessity. Like, I don't need anyone else like around. If there's someone else there around, then that's great. But I don't. I'm not desperate to have someone else around, because I love those evenings where you do yourself a nice meal and you think, well, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, whatever it may be. Watch TV, music.
Yeah, you can watch what you want.
Yeah, and then I really enjoy those moments. But
that's why not living with someone would work. Being in a relationship, not living with them, because then you have got those nights off where you can do that. So you've got the best of both.
So how about you? Are there any questions as a woman that you'd want to ask a guy and get a sort of an honest-ish?
There is, actually, thinking about it. That's a really good question. So I've met guys where they've actually said to me, and they've told me it, they've like straight up, like guys are not emotionally attached as women are to a relationship. So if it breaks down, guys can just walk away easier than women can. Women are attached to, what they had and they don't want to lose it. Men can just walk off and, meet someone else. Is that true?
From my experience, it depends upon how the guy feels about the woman. From my experience,
Yeah.
but I do think if it depends on the age of the guy as well. It depends on the age of the
Mm.
guy and what he's,
Maturity.
yeah, and not just his maturity, but what his experience has been before.
Mm.
I think
Mm.
if you like most people have, but not everyone. If you've had your sort of heart broken before, I think you only ever do that once.
Mm.
You'll be upset other times, but you'll learn how to get over it a lot quicker. So I think
Yeah.
I don't think that's a man thing. I think that's a woman thing as well. I think that's just a person thing. That once you've experienced sort of having your heart broken, once you're over it, and whichever way you get through it, or however you get through that, I do think you think I'm never doing that again. You know, I'll be
Yeah, you definitely learn by things that happen. I've done that. If something's gone wrong in a relationship, I think right, and it's been terrible, and it's taken me a while to get over it. I think right, I'm not having that happen again, so I'll like avoid it at all costs.
and I also think it depends upon whose decision it is. I mean,
Yeah.
I've dated people previously where I've really liked them. It's been their decision to sort of say, no, you're not for me. But I've got a lot better at, like in the last few years, thinking
Okay.
if it's a no, that's fine. If I'm not for
Mm.
you, then you're not the right person for me either. And I think
Yeah. Yeah.
you learn
Exactly.
you learn that with experience. And when, like I said to you just now, I think if you're happy single, there's no big deal to it. It's like, okay, well, it was great seeing you, and you made things really good, but I'm good on my own anyway. So, it
Yeah.
depends upon those guys. What they say. I think some guys are quite macho about it and will say, yeah, I don't care. I'll just, I'll meet someone else. I don't know
Mm.
if that's always the truth, or whether they've met a person that actually, really grabs them. Or they might have just been through
Mm.
it before, like I said, and have got to that stage where,
Yeah.
okay, well, if I'm not for you, I can walk away. That's no
Yeah.
problem. I'm not going to waste the time sort of, playing Lionel Richie on the, and crying him a pillow.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't, if someone doesn't want to be with you, then the last thing you should want to do is want to be with them. You just need to try and walk away. But yeah,
And I,
you do.
and I think that's been a big thing as well for me, is that I've got a lot better at when, and you know what it's like. I think as you get older as well, you can sense when people change, can't you? When, like, there's that, like we said, that one sentence that's said where you go, well, that hasn't gone down well. Whatever, something's definitely changed, because they don't reply to your text messages quicker. So when I see things like that,
Yeah.
and you get that text where they go, can we chat? I've got a lot better at going, well, we can, but if you're going to tell me this is a no, I don't need to know anymore. It seems really brutal, but
There's
I
no
just
point
think
having a chat. I would
there's
just
no
end
point
it here.
there, because like all the reasons where they
Don't
go,
waste each other's time.
exactly, and where people go, it's not you, it's me, it's this, it's that. I think all of that is for the person that's actually delivering the no to sort of try and soften it. But I think if we get to the stage
Yeah,
where, listen,
yeah. When
if it's a
really it is
no,
you. It is you.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Just trying to make you feel better.
it really is you. But just get to the no. It's like, fine, just tell me no. That's it. It's done. All the rest is sort of like, what does it matter whose fault it is,
Yeah.
or, whether it's you, whether it's me, or whatever, you could, because no one's ever going to tell you the truth. I don't think.
No.
And not from a bad point of view, but people, I think, inherently are good, and no one wants to upset another person. So they'll tell them anything they can to make it better, when the
Soften
bottom
it.
the bottom line is it's a no. Do you know what I mean?
They don't want to be with you.
They don't want to be that's all you need to know. You don't want to be with me. That's fine. I'll find someone that does. And if not, I'm
It's
gonna
not
be,
like at school when you can just be like, "You're dumb."
yeah, when you've not even gone out with them in the first place. It's only sort of,
Yeah.
we're going out with each other, and then 2 hours later it's like, I've dumped you. Oh.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
I wish we could go back
would you want to
to
do
uni.
that though? If you how about this? If you
Yeah,
could
'cause
go back to any age, what
then
would
you
it
don't have
be?
to go through all the heartache and you don't have to explain everything. You could just be like, "You're done."
That's what it should be, yeah. But not the word dump. Just say, listen, I'm done. Okay, fine, no problem.
Yeah, true.
One of the best stories that I heard, my friends and my brothers, they sat down to plan their I know they'd been together, they'd been married for 20 years. So they sat down to sort of organise the party, and they started doing the guest list. So they sat at the dinner table and they started doing the guest list, and it was like, yeah, well, I don't want them there, I don't want that there. So after they'd been sitting down for 2 hours, they both realised they didn't want to be with each other anymore and just decided to go their separate ways. Which I thought was brilliant. They sat down to plan a party, realised that they didn't have anything in common anymore.
Is that the
Neither,
most time they've ever spent together?
maybe they
In
sort of
2
realised
hours?
that they didn't like each other's friends either. And we're like, yeah, we're probably better off apart. And it was really
We have
amicable.
nothing in common.
We got nothing in common. They went their own ways. I thought, well, it's brilliant. That's how it should be.
Yeah, that
Definitely
is
how it
good.
should be. So,
Just organise a party and then you'll know.
so are there any sort of because I think it's really good for women to ask guys things that aren't, where they'll get an honest answer. Any other things?
I want to ask you. Yeah, actually, talking about your show, I want to ask you,
Okay.
would you recommend my mum, your dad to like obviously single people who are, out there who haven't met anyone and don't think they're going to meet anyone? Would you recommend them to go and apply for that show?
100%. Yeah, 100%
Yeah.
definitely. Not necessarily to meet someone, because I think obviously that's the idea of it, but it's a bit like a dating app. Very unlikely it's going to
Mhm.
happen. It might
Yeah.
last a short time because distances and everything else, it's very difficult. But what I do think it does is it puts you in an environment where you'll be around like-minded people. And that's a really
Yeah.
nice thing, because I think, we don't, as sort of single people, sometimes don't talk to each other enough, because more often than not, you're not always surrounded by single people. So people aren't
Mm.
always going to get, date, like what's going on dating apps, or what's going on in dates, or, when you're on your own, and all those things. So that's a great experience. Doing it with your kids is the best thing. It's,
Yeah, I
it's,
bet.
it's a memory that you'll always have together. So I
Have
think that's
forever,
good.
yeah.
So 100% I would recommend it. And there's always a slight chance that you will meet someone. And that's all you need every day.
Mm.
Every day you get up and
Yeah.
you go out, there's always a slight chance. And that's the great thing about being single, is like the story's not ended yet. You just never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah, I think so as well. That's how I look at being single. I always think it's quite exciting being single
Yeah.
because you're going to meet somebody at some point. You're not going to be on your own forever. Even if it doesn't last, you're going to meet somebody and it's exciting to not know who you're going to meet
Yeah, exactly. And,
or how you're going to meet them.
and the story's still going. So, but I think we should try and get you on it next year. That'd be good. I'd like to see you on it.
I'd love to go on it. I love that show. It is so like I cry when I watch that show. I have
It-
cried a couple of times. I've been like, this is so like, it's just so like, warming. With the kids and things. I just think it's so nice.
Did you enjoy the show this year?
The show this year,
Yeah.
I think I preferred your show last year. I did enjoy it this year, but I think I was more kind of I was more into it last year. I was more invested into it last year.
Uh,
But it's still really good. I mean, the first show of everything is always the best. Our show was the first, so
exactly. We're going to stick to that.
the
Yeah.
first series, shall I say?
I think those shows live and die by the connections that are made on the show. I think that's what makes them, and that's so hard to get, isn't it? I think it really is.
Mm.
It's. I think the great thing about this year's show was the guys were all got to be really friendly. But the bottom
Yeah.
line was it was a dating show, and that's the thing with it. I think it's so hard. It must be so hard to do it. We've had a few really good ideas that was on another podcast that we did. So we're hoping that ITV come to me and Zach, and we can give them our ideas. That'd be great.
Oh, that'd be really good.
I'd love them.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I've
Yeah.
loved talking to you. I'm going to put all your details on here for anyone that wants to follow you. You put some lovely pictures up as well, especially of your nights out and your holidays. I love looking at those. And obviously for the fitness side
Oh,
of it,
thank
anyone
you.
that wants to follow you and get in shape and just for mind, body and health and for their menopause as well,
Mhm.
I'll get them to follow you
Absolutely.
and they can see everything that you do. But thank you so much for your
Thank you.
time and thank you for coming on. I've loved chatting with you. Take care.
You too. Thanks, Elliot. Take care.
Guys, thank you for joining 50 Shades of Grey again. Make sure you subscribe below and follow us, and we'll catch up. Be safe. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you, darling. I'm going to just stop this. Stay there.
You're welcome.